This is the day John Kerry went duck hunting. We had the obligatory Ducks Unlimited hats. That's Kerry that night. This is Kerry with General Wes Clark, trying to use the 4x5 for this series of pictures. And basically, any of them worked, but I just kind of kept trying to get through until I had one picture that I sort of liked. This is the chap who is the chief press lead guy. He was the guy that makes sure the photographers would get where they wanted to go. This was the view we mostly saw of him. All right, Jim, you better take another slug. We got to go to Pueblo. Back on the bus. And so I'm shooting both color on the one hand and with the digital camera, which technically you can see it's pretty amazing what you can do with these digital cameras. But even at a moment when John Kerry became kind of really hitting his stride at being able to scare small children, and then the day after this, the memo went out. No matter how athletic or how able your candidate is, soccer is just not the sport you want. There's just kind of nothing good can come out of this. There just aren't any votes. We will not be getting any votes from this. We should stick to baseball. And I would go back and forth. This was in Manchester, New Hampshire, a shot with the big camera, and there was just something to me that felt very 1948 about it, and I really liked it. And trying to capture something on a campaign where every day you see the same damn thing 3 or 4 times, it really forces you to look and look and look and look and keep looking for other ways of doing it. This is a digital camera, Madison, Wisconsin, an big indoor rally. This is about 20 seconds later with the 4x5 camera. John Edwards with his senior staff. Kerry and Edwards on the plane. The thing is, you're always striving to get behind-the-scenes time. You're always striving to get something that really is a little bit more about what's happening than just what they want you to see. It's the hardest thing to try and get. They dole it out in little bits. And frankly, I didn't have the heart to be the one to tell him, Senator, they're really here for Bruce Springsteen. It was a pretty amazing crowd. It was like 40,000 people, but they were kind of there for the boss. That's the senator's bottle of water. That's an exclusive photo. A little chat with the staff. I mean, he's just trying to see what's going on before they go out into this speech, and he's ticked off about something, and this isn't right, and that isn't right. And these things happen. You don't always get to see him. I mean, it's not the well-oiled machine, clearly. This was him waiting as he's being introduced, kind of backstage. And I made some pictures with my digital camera, and then I tried to shoot this with the 4x5, and it just didn't work. But I figure you got to try and push the envelope a little bit, or you'll never get anywhere. And that's Kerry the afternoon of the election, just about the time he was being told that, in fact, no, he was not ahead, he was behind. They came up with this really cool idea of what to do with photographers. Like, just, wrap them with tape that signifies a chemical spill, and you're pretty golden. Joe Wilson, who's the well-known former diplomat who's married to the former CIA operative. I went to photograph him at his house one morning when he was like uptight because he had to be on Imus in 20 minutes. Like, hey, tell Imus I'm here. But in one of the pictures that I hadn't even noticed until I got back to the office, Valerie had walked through in her pajamas. And because I didn't want to be the first person to out her, I ended up holding the picture until this Christmas finally, a year and a half later, when it was finally run by Time magazine. Jack Abramoff. who I thought I had shot with a 4x5, but I'd taken every camera I owned to photograph the guy, and when they sent me back the full scan, I realized it was a 35 millimeter. But that's a time cover 2 weeks ago, shot with the 4x5. I'm trying to shoot everybody with both cameras now, so that I kind of create this body of work. These are the D-Day veterans. And I'm going to really try and blow through here. I've been a fan of D-Day vets for 30 years. I been back to Normandy about 6 times for the big anniversaries, and have really loved all the friendships I've had with these guys. It's Bob Williams, who at the 50th anniversary, he and a bunch of other crazy 72-year-olds jumped out of a plane again over San Mary-Église. And keeping with the old way of doing it, they jumped him in the wrong place. Harry Parley, who had a flamethrower on D-Day, and this was a guy who was in charge of finding the first cemetery for the Americans. Colorado College, 1967, Dave Lanahow, 99-yard run from scrimmage. Last good football picture I took. Flojo at the 88 Olympics. Fu Min Sha at the 92 Barcelona games. I've kind of always thought of myself as a sports photographer, but not like sort of a regular sports photographer. I'm always, I'm trying to do something. I know I'm going to get beat on action shots by the really good people from Sports Illustrated, so I'm looking for something else. So this was a picture of Carl Lewis at the 84 games, and this is a shot that we just found last year of the moment of him winning the 100 meters. And I kind of like this even more, not knowing who it is. I mean, I know who it is because I can see in the frames on the film after this, you see it's Carl Lewis, but I like the mystery. This is the little sequence that got me officially declared sports photographer. This was Zola Budd, number 151, and Mary Decker at the 84 games. And as I told my wife that night when I called home, I said, honey, there's good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? Well, what's the bad news? So, well, the bad news is, in the women's 3,000 final today, Mary Decker fell. She said, well, what's the good news? She did it right in front of me. And this picture, and then it was all over. And then a few seconds later, all the nurses arrived, and we couldn't see anything, and it was over. It was just like that. And that's kind of what, you can anticipate what you think will be everything, but you can't really anticipate the surprise. So I started